Once upon a time, in a land surrounded by emerald green mountains and meadows that stretched as far as the eye could see, there stood a small, weathered cottage. This was the home of a young boy named Jack, a dreamer with a heart full of hope, and his widowed mother. Life for them was a constant struggle. Their cupboards were often bare, and their only possession of any real value was an old white cow that Jack cared for as if she were his best friend. One chilly morning, a heavy sadness fell over the cottage. The old cow, who had sustained them for so long, could no longer give any milk. Jack's mother sat on a rickety wooden bench, her eyes filling with tears. "Jack, my dear boy," she sighed, "we have reached the end of our rope. Our faithful friend can no longer provide for us. You must take her to the market and sell her. Pray that you get a fair price, enough for us to buy seeds so we can survive the long winter ahead." With a heavy heart, Jack led the cow down the long, winding road. He felt a deep ache at the thought of parting with her, but he knew he had to help his mother. Before he could reach the town, he encountered a strange old man wearing a faded, ancient cloak. The man's eyes twinkled with a mysterious light, like stars captured in glass. He stopped Jack and asked in a low, soothing voice, "Where are you taking such a fine, loyal creature, young man?" When Jack explained their poverty, the man smiled knowingly. He reached into a small leather pouch and pulled out 5 tiny beans. They weren't ordinary beans. They were etched with delicate patterns and glowed with a soft, ethereal light. "I will give you these magic beans in exchange for your cow," the old man whispered. "Trust me, Jack. If you plant them tonight, by morning they will have grown so high you won't be able to see the top. They will bring you a fortune beyond your wildest dreams." Jack, who had always believed in wonders, decided to trust the man. He traded the cow for the 5 glowing beans and hurried home, his heart racing with excitement. When Jack returned with only a handful of beans instead of a bag of gold, his mother was heartbroken. She trembled with frustration and cried out, "We are starving, and you traded our last hope for a few worthless seeds?" In her grief, she snatched the beans and threw them out of the window into the dark garden soil. Jack felt a terrible weight of guilt. He went to his dark bedroom and fell into a restless sleep on an empty stomach, unaware that outside his window, a miracle was taking root. Fed by the evening dew, the beans cracked open and grew with terrifying speed. Thick emerald green stalks twisted together like a massive fortress, surging upward past Jack's window and disappearing into the thick clouds high above. The next morning, as golden sunlight filled the room, Jack awoke to find a giant beanstalk standing where the old tree used to be. Its leaves were as soft as velvet and arranged like a winding staircase. Without a second thought, he climbed out of his window and began to ascend. He climbed higher and higher, through damp mists and thinning air, until his feet finally touched a path of clouds that felt as solid as the ground. There, standing amidst the bright sunlight, was a magnificent, towering castle made of shimmering white stone. Jack cautiously made his way inside, where a kind giantess took pity on his hunger. She gave him bread and milk, but suddenly the very ground began to shake with the force of 1,000 footsteps. Her husband, a fearsome giant, entered the kitchen, sniffing the air. "Fee, fi, fo, fum," he roared in a voice like thunder. "I smell the blood of a little human." Jack hid inside the large copper oven, keeping as still as a stone. He watched as the giant sat down and counted mountains of gold coins until he finally fell into a deep sleep, his snores rattling the windows. Jack seized the moment, grabbed one heavy bag of gold, and scrambled back down the beanstalk to his mother. That gold changed their lives. They repaired their cottage and finally had plenty to eat. But Jack's spirit of adventure was not yet satisfied. He climbed the beanstalk a second time. This time he saw the giant with a beautiful magical hen. When the giant commanded, "Lay," the hen produced a solid gold egg that glowed like the sun. Jack waited until the giant was fast asleep and took the hen back down to the world below. On his third climb, the most dangerous of all, Jack found a golden harp that could play the most beautiful, soothing melodies ever heard by human ears. But as Jack reached for it, the harp cried out, "Master, master, a thief is taking me away!" The giant sprang up in a rage and chased Jack down the beanstalk with terrifying speed. Jack slid down as fast as he could, his hands burning against the stalk. As soon as his feet hit the dirt, he cried out for his mother to bring the axe. With all his might, Jack swung the axe into the base of the beanstalk. After a few heavy strikes, the giant stalk began to lean and finally crashed down with a sound that echoed through the valley. The giant fell with it and disappeared forever. The chaos finally came to an end. Jack and his mother lived the rest of their days in peace and safety. They were wealthy, but more importantly, they were happy. Their little home was no longer silent. It was filled with laughter and the gentle heavenly music of the golden harp that played them to sleep every night. People tell this story to remind us that sometimes a great opportunity looks like a tiny, worthless bean. It is the door to a great change if only you have the courage to grab it and the heart to face your fears for the ones you love. Jack wasn't just a lucky boy who found magic beans. He was the boy who proved that even on the darkest, most hopeless days, if you have faith, wisdom, and a brave spirit, you can create a miracle that changes your life forever, all starting with just a few small seeds held in the palm of your hand.